This is where the real talk starts. So take a seat, let's have a chat, table talk, where the real talk's at.
I still need to take the cat off.
Did you hear about what the fox said?
The fox?
The fox.
Is it a ding ding?
Enlighten
ding,
me.
ding, ding?
I don't know. I was just wondering if you knew, because I don't know.
Been a while since I've been around a fox. You know, now I have seen some fox bodies, but you know, they're
And that's kind of sound I like.
At this stage, you know, they're touching cougar status.
Rare.
You know, the stupid thing is, I've always liked the cougars better than the Mustang. Anyway, I strive to be different, I guess.
I had a cougar once. It had a broken front strut.
Right.
It leaned to the right.
Well, that's better than leaning the other way, I think.
Then my brother ended up with it. I don't remember what happened to it after that.
Right.
That was years ago. Sarah was still a baby. That's when I first went back to Ohio back in the 90s.
Right.
99, 2000 area.
Yeah, I had a.
It's before me and her. It should have been me and her all along,
right.
But you know.
What did I have? It was an 87, I think. V6 automatic car. Never could get a title for it. But I love that body, like the 87, 88. I love that. And then the late 60s into the early 70s. Like, if money was no issue, I would have me a 1970 Cougar Eliminator. But, you know, money's an issue.
His Gemini's picking up everything you're saying over here.
Well, good. Hey, send me one. You know, not with a price tag. Just send me the car.
We want it for free.
Yes.
For free?
She said everything. All right, then.
All righty. Good times. So, we are still digging into Psalm 23, line by line, word for word.
We might get done with it this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It depends on if we get into the punctuation or not.
Because that matters.
It honestly,
it does.
Yep, you got to have the little
chicken. Comma can make a difference in how the word,
it really can.
The sentence reads.
You know, and the downside about it being written instead of spoken to us is which word you accent can make a difference also.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Is it written or wrote?
Depends on usage.
Have written. And I wrote it yesterday. That's how that would be used.
Oh.
So, I mean, either or, depending on wordage.
So I ate it yesterday and ate it today.
I have eaten it before, and I ate it yesterday. But I will eat it today. Look at me grammar in here.
What always got me was I'm stupid, like future perfect tense or whatever, where you have to start adding a bunch of redundants. Like, well, I would have had to. You know, I'm like, maybe.
What happened was.
Right. I remember an episode of a Big Bang Theory where they were arguing over such matters. And
I just imagine how that went.
Well, it was Sheldon and Leonard
Of
going
course.
back and forth with it. And yeah, there was a lot of syllables in there just to make it grammatically correct, if that makes sense. And honestly, it's one of them scenarios where the more correct you make it, the worse it got.
Let's see here. So I'm going to share the verse. Did I say that right?
The verse that we are covering today, which is Psalms 23:4.
Does that make you a share bear?
Bear share. Bear where?
And we're going to be digging into verse 4 today. At least the first part of it.
Are we getting feedback from the peanut gallery?
I don't see any.
On your phone?
I can't even chat.
No chat?
No chat.
I've got some messages, but it's not related.
Okay.
When I click chat, I have no way to chat.
I
It
wonder,
says audience messages will appear here, but that's it.
Let me try.
well, maybe you can disappear and come back as log into me. I don't know. What's that button do?
I can edit name, video settings, edit my avatar. I have an avatar. Okay. I can see chats, but I can't chat.
What did he? Chris can.
I can't.
He's logged in under my name.
Yeah. What'd you do? Why'd you tear it up?
I didn't do anything. I'm just
What was you
signing
supposed to
in.
do?
I don't know. I think it might be on his end somewhere.
Oh, we'll still learn how to use this stuff. This new stuff.
It's a. We've
New-
used this before, but we didn't use it for very long. It's a new program.
Okay. All right. So here is the verse. Hey, it's actually edible. Edible? Readable.
Are we eating? Well, I mean, technically, it is food. Food for the spirit. So
Food for thought.
it is edible. It's food for the spirit. Put it back up.
Oh, sorry.
King James Version. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. So we're actually going to break down that first section today. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Sounds a lot like a Monday morning going into work. Does it not? I mean, it's probably worse than that because, here in America, we really have no perception of the rest of the world, Walking through the valley of the shadow of death. I mean, that just, the wordage, I mean, that does not paint a very happy picture. Don't you think?
Is it like a dark valley, a dark
Yes, it's talking.
just dark times?
It's talking about that. Yes. We kind of did a switch. The first three verses were
Been happy, green, lucky.
green pastures and
And
still
water.
waters.
Right,
and,
right,
you
right.
know, and
The sheep are happy. They're wandering the field, and God's
they're
like, get
being
back over
taken
here.
care of.
Right.
I'm your shepherd, and I'm taking care of you, and this is all the good stuff that I have like for you. And
Well, honestly, it works really nicely in contrast as we've gone over the aspects of sheep and what all it takes for them to be still, to lie down, to even drink the water, much less cross the waters. Excuse me. We'll see. We will see.
You gonna make it over there?
Yes, yes. My Coca-Cola is doing its fizzy thing. But all that goes into making a sheep feel calm and safe and protected where they are at ease and at peace. And then David contrasted here is like, even though I walk through basically hell on earth, your rod and your staff comfort me.
Right.
So he's done a very good contrast in showing his trust in the shepherd.
I can private chat. I cannot regular chat.
Well, nobody has said anything.
No, it just
Oh, I get it.
it's my brain.
I know. I got it.
You've got your tisms, I've got mine.
Well, she had to poke that one, didn't she?
This is one of mine. Like
Right. She's like, mind your business. This is what I do.
pretty much like ignore me. This is my thought process. This is how I work. Sorry.
It says, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. How often is that exactly where we find the Lord? In the trials, in the tribulations, in the suffering, in the waiting. It's not just in the healing, but also in the hurting. Does that make sense?
I think it's the only time people really find God when they're
Honestly,
when
that seems to be the majority of it.
it's just like when they're hurting the most. It's like when they want to find God the most, and that's when people need to realize that you need God before that.
Well, we should. We should. But
Like, please pray that we get this house. Well, you should have been praying before that.
are you able to comment?
No, that's all waved.
Okay.
Like, I can't comment, so hi.
Why don't you sign out and sign in as me? Like, don't.
It's
like,
fine,
don't
because if I really need to comment, I can go to YouTube and comment that way.
Oh, okay.
I'll make it work. It's just, weird. But why not?
That makes sense if you watch that cartoon that's got the blue guy with the big head, Megamind. He doesn't say hello. It's hello.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
I like the movie. The cartoon I've been kind of iffy on, but the cartoon movie, I guess, I did like it. It was cute. I've got mixed emotions about the walking fish, but focus. See, she got my tisms fired up. So, what have we got, guys? And then
Kids, can I get a pop? Is your tongue numb, Dad? Soda, Gabe, we ain't gonna be like Dad. Soda. This is
why didn't they just ask for a Coke and be done with it?
That's what I said. It's Cokes. Like, there's different kinds of Cokes. Do you want a Coke? Do you want a Pepsi? Do you want a Mountain Dew? They're all Coke.
I remember being up north, and that got brought up. Why do y'all call everything Coke? I'm like, well, why do y'all call it pop? I'm like, honestly, again, it's a grammatical thing. In general, yeah, everything's a Coke. But we don't ask for a Coke and then have to specify a Sprite. When it's that point, do you want a Coke, a Pepsi, a Sprite, a Dr. Pepper, a Mountain Dew? I'm like, so generally it's all Coke,
I guess they're watching because they're like, so can we?
Have you done your chores?
Probably not. Last time we checked, the dishes were still in the sink that we told them to do before we left.
Right.
Oh, wait, there's a text. Gabe said no.
I mean,
Guess that would be his answer then, huh?
I mean,
They're going through the dark shadows of death.
Mom's so mean.
Chris is the one that brought it up, not us.
I know. Like, we're like, that's a good point. No, you haven't done your chores yet, so.
Well, I mean,
we don't keep soda in the house very much for that reason, because they will drink it all.
No, I get it. That's why I keep soda in my house, because I drink it, But at the same point in time, I also watch for when it's on sale.
That's what I got. The sun
That's
drops.
why
Right. But back on topic, maybe, no promises.
People's like, my chores are done.
Well, are they asking for one each or to split
each.
one?
One each.
Oh.
It's a sun drop. They're wanting a sun drop.
I mean, would it be mean if Abel drank his in front of Gabe?
Do you know how many times Gabe's bought food?
Well, I'm just saying,
in front of him?
I got one.
I have diets there, but they don't like diets, so I don't have to worry about that. Nobody drinks mine. Look, right here. Here's one, too.
But I got my chores. Well, no, my chores were never done.
Yeah, adulting your chores.
No,
are never done.
good Lord, no. There's always dishes, laundry, yard to mow,
yes,
freaking
something.
House repairs, and dear God, it never ends.
Mm-hmm.
The pride of ownership. I think that's what they call it.
Okay.
I remember being younger and people would say something brilliant like, it's all right. It'll put hair on your chest. Builds character. I've already got the character of a wet mop, and at this point, I should look like Chewbacca. So, yeah, can we pause this?
Yeah.
I don't even remember where we left off at this point.
Uh,
I know we
ra-
started this, but
rattling on, and
You read the reread the verse.
yeah,
okay. Well,
Is it red or
and,
red?
and did contrast between
Dark
the
valley.
darkness.
yeah from
Did you notice the grammar
go,
change?
I did. It's that seems to happen when you go from the force to the dark side.
Yes. Yeah, it was all about look at God. He's the shepherd. He's this. He's that. And then I'm in this dark, low place. But God, I need you. Like
Right.
we went from talking about him to talking directly to him.
Right. Yeah,
I
went
thought
from
that was
a more
interesting.
abstract to um so yeah, that part is neat. And then
Yeah, you kind of touch base on that. Like when it starts turning bad, then it's like we're not talking about him no more. We're going to start talking to him. But notice how we do that. How we talk about or talk to him
right.
when we're in the thick of it, but we don't really talk to him as much when we are in those green pastures and still waters.
As dumb as it sounds, I don't think we will ever feel as close to God as we do when he is our only hope.
Yeah.
And for those who have a good relationship with Christ, I would say, who have not been in a position where at least you felt like you were on rock bottom, there is a closeness
Yes.
that you have not experienced yet. Um, at the same point in time, don't go do something stupid so you can find it.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
when you've hit that bottom,
I will tell you flat out, you will do enough stupid by accident without having to do it on purpose.
yes. And if you do it on purpose, there's not 100% chance that he will help pull you out of that either.
Well, I mean, context makes a big difference.
Yes.
Reasoning makes a difference. But
Sometimes
if you go and read through the Old Testament, Judges, First and Second Kings, and whatnot, some of these, Exodus, where everybody was, God's kind of a FAFO kind
Yeah.
of God. There are things where like we probably wouldn't show up, but he has.
Yeah.
But there are other things. Sometimes he gives you what you ask for, even if it's not in your own good. I mean, his plan was never for Israel to have a king.
Right.
They kept fussing, and he's like, fine.
Yeah.
And Saul was kind of 50-50, depending on how his demons were treating him.
Mm-hmm.
David was, I think, as far as a king goes, mostly good, other than the Bathsheba. Was that her name?
Where the wife that he took
And
from
then the
somebody,
soldier's husband and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
he put him on the front lines to have
Yeah.
the deal because he got her pregnant.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I mean, but that goes to show even the greatest, and the Bible says that God said he's a man after God's own heart.
Yes.
So, that's something to really think about.
Honestly,
look at the
it
things
is.
that David did.
Well, what's more, I ran across a meme earlier today, and I don't remember the specific wording, so this isn't a quote, but David fell to lust. Probably, well, Samson fell to lust.
And he was also one that said that he was after God's own heart.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Abraham and Sarah completely tripped and fell over impatience.
yeah.
Solomon, the wisest one, fell to his own, I mean, what would you call it? Hubris or appetite, for that matter. The greatest of the great have made mistakes.
Moses killed a man.
Right.
And then struck the rock out of anger.
Right. So in all of these, like the heroes of the Bible screwed up. They can't, whether you have grace or whether you're under the law or whichever covenant you think you may or may not be under, depending on context, we can't do it by ourselves.
Mm-mm.
We simply can't.
No.
And we are still going to fail even on our best behavior. I am a firm believer that if we was ever, as individuals, able to completely eliminate sin, every sin from our life, the moment we realize that, we're like, hey, look what I did. Congratulations. Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
you take all the credit for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. You
God
My
know?
life is great. Look how good I'm doing.
Or better yet, you start looking down on others because of it.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer that even even if we was able to accomplish that, we would trip at the finish line. Um, and that's part of human nature. I don't know what to do about it. That's why we need Jesus.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's really that simple. If you think that you're mostly a good person, you need to define what good and bad is. And then you need to hold yourself to the same standard of good and bad that you hold others to. You know, without all the extra explanations of why it was okay for you but not for them.
I was having a similar conversation today where it's the place that I volunteer at.
Right.
And we were talking about, she said, I can't stand when somebody like snubs their nose at me. And,
Right.
you know, looks down on me like you're not better than me. I was like, none of us are better than anybody. I said, if we all got what we deserve, we'd all be in hell with our next breath.
Well, there is
I mean,
that. Now there context matters.
Yes,
We should not
obviously.
look down on others as though we are better than them. However, if there is a person caught in a series of self-inflicted stupid decisions that they can't seem to break themselves from, oh, I think a certain amount of stop being an idiot is
Yeah,
appropriate.
But I don't think that's looking down on them as
Well, they're going to think so.
Yeah, but it's really not. It's more of, okay, this is accountability. This is what it
Right.
looks like. You know, you're doing stupid stuff repeatedly.
Right.
When are we going to grow up? You know, that's more a place of love than condemnation.
Oh, I get that.
I know, but I know people don't see it that
Oh
way.
no, they don't.
But I
And we
think
don't when it happens to us.
but I think that needs to be said so they can,
Right.
you know, that can be heard in this conversation. Like, it's not looking down on somebody for correction. The Bible actually tells us that we are to correct each other.
Yes.
We are supposed to come with each other with love and correction from a biblical standpoint.
Yes.
So let me say that
Out of
too.
love.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
not out of pride, not out of hubris,
Not
not
better
not
than
out
you.
of right. Nobody wants to be Sister Bertha better than you.
And
Well, everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to be labeled that.
it's like I told this person today. I'm like, we all sin. We just sin differently.
For the most part, yeah.
Like, I mean, none of us are free from sin. Like, we just do it differently.
Correct. And
you know?
and my thing is, I don't think my attitude on it is sinful, because I do know that I have sins. But there are some sins out there that I'm glad that aren't my problem.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, now that's not said to look down on others that sin differently than me, but there are some sins out there that I'm just thankful that I don't have to worry
that's
about.
That's not a struggle for you.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's okay to, you know, hey, I don't struggle with that. I still struggle with this over here.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, I'm thankful.
You know,
and
but I'm
grateful
not trying to justify that. You know, it's like, well, I might lie, but I never killed any. That's not where I'm at with
Right.
it. It's, you know, now, and I'm not saying that we should be doing such things.
Right.
But you know, I am thankful that, you know, being a serial killer isn't one of my issues.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that is coming from a bad place to be grateful of such a thing. You know. The prison system is completely full of people who, how do you say it fairly? Some may or may not have made mistakes, and others have a different outlook on what morality is. It's obviously illegal regardless of how you feel about it. And, you know, like, I'm glad that a lot of their struggles are not my struggles.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we might still have some of these same struggles.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Um, I got stopped by an officer of the law the other day, and my tag's expired. And he was kind enough to point that out to me, and I'm not picking on him at all, but he's like, well, I'm doing a impaired driving check. I'm like, okay. He's like, have you had anything to drink? I'm like, yeah. Have you had anything intoxicating to drink? I'm like, sir, you drink more than I do. And he kind of snickered. I'm like, I can't remember I'm like, I'm not a teetotaler. I will occasionally have a drink. I'm like, but it's not worth pointing out. I was like, chances are you drink more than I do. And he's like, well, okay. Do you have anything else in the car? I'm like, sir, you're not listening. I have a caffeine habit and I smoke cigarettes. Those are my vices, at least that I'm going to discuss with the law. Um, you know, I was like, you're barking up the wrong tree. I've got an expired tag. Other than that, our conversation is, and I wasn't rude with him. It's just, this is what's going through my head is, if you're looking for substance abuse or whatever, like you are really barking up the wrong tree, and of course he explained to me, like, well, we do this from time to time. I'm like, no, no, dude. I'm like, and I know where he was sitting. I seen him and I waved at him. No, he picked a good spot because the area he's in, there's a lot of impaired driving in that area.
Yeah.
And I hope he cleans the roads up. This gentleman was not out of line. I got stopped. What was it? Last winter, I think I told you about that. Now, this gentleman was, he was looking for a reason for things to escalate. And I don't know. I don't want to badmouth him because maybe he was having a day. And he didn't cross a line where I feel like I need to go chat with his supervisors. But boy, we was that close, And I think the majority of them are simply decent people trying to do a job.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with people who never admit when they screw up.
Well,
Like you could be running 30 miles over the speed limit and they stop you and like, well, I wasn't speeding. I mean, I feel for them. They signed up for a job that comes with idiots, and that's us.
And there's so much hate for
Oh
it
my
out there
God.
right now.
Oh
too.
my God.
Like, and
Yeah.
that's been going on for several years now.
Right.
And I know there's some that are not.
There
They're
are
not
some
doing
that
like they should be.
they don't have the right mentality or constitution to be in a position of authority.
And there's some who are not doing like they should. There are some who are, corrupt, so to speak. But that's not all of them. You can't wrap
It's
them all
not.
together. Just like you can't wrap, us all together. Like,
Right.
there's good seeds and there's bad seeds. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
the Bible teaches that too.
Well, and that's the downside. I used to date a girl, and her father was a prison guard, and he had a hard time seeing the good in anybody because all he seen was the bad.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't make him a bad guy, and he wasn't mean to everybody. It's just he didn't give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt.
Because of his career.
Right. Like he spent most of his life with people behind bars.
When all you've seen your entire, whatever
Right,
for
yeah.
a long period of time is nasty, that's all you're gonna see.
Exactly.
Like, I mean,
Exactly.
and that goes for like even us on a normal basis. Like, I mean, I've given my testimony.
Yeah.
All I saw was people treating me like crap.
Yep.
For years. So guess what? That's all I saw in
Yep.
everybody. And I'm sure that there's relationships that I destroyed because
That's the other
of
aspect.
the fear that I had. I'm going to hurt them before they hurt me.
I had that conversation with somebody else, and to put it in a proper context, it was relationship based. And if you go into the relationship thinking, well, it really doesn't matter what I do because it's going to be wrong and they're going to leave me anyways and all that. A lot of times you have a self-fulfilling prophecy where you yourself sabotage it.
Mhm.
either knowingly or unknowingly. And then when it all blows up in your face, like, well, see, I was right. Well, if you're the problem, yeah, you was right, but you made it happen.
Yep.
You know.
I mean, looking back, even like in high school, I can think of a couple people that,
Right.
I cared for, but I hurt them before they ever had a chance to hurt me.
Right.
Like
right.
it was, I sabotaged that relationship.
Well, you was
And
mean to him.
Well, he was mean to me first, so I didn't like him. That one don't count. That was a pity date or whatever relationship at that point. Just leave me alone.
I just wanted you to hold my hand.
You held my best friend's hand instead. Thank you.
Well, you weren't there.
Okay, anywho.
I was going to say, boy, I picked the wrong. Moving on.
We like the best of each other.
I know.
It's part of our past. It's part of how,
Right.
we met and got together and we just like to have fun with it.
Right.
Like, well, and he was like, and he tells me all the time, you should have been the one then. And I'm like, well, you're the one that messed that up. Like, I mean, I was like, but, on all seriousness, we weren't the same people then. It might not have worked then because we're not the same people.
Right.
Like, timing. Timing is everything. We had to grow up. Both
Back
of
in
us.
1996, holding hands in high school was not considered cheating.
Yes, it was.
There are people today that
What does the Bible says? If you lust in your heart after another woman, that's considered cheating. You don't even have to say anything. Just thinking about it is cheating in God's eyes. Thank you.
I have run into people that in their mind, cheating is only like strictly vaginal sex. Everything else is on the table. And I'm like, if you put a raincoat on, you're not technically touching. So does that even count? And, and it's not that I'm arguing for that point. It's, some people have a very, very loose idea of what constitutes that. And I'm kind of pretty hard on the other end of the spectrum. The way I see it is, if I'm supposed to be inaccessible, like nobody's supposed to be able to get my attention, same goes for the other side.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't care if it's a text message, a phone call, social media. I don't really care what the context is. If I'm supposed to be inaccessible, that's what I expect,
And that's what it should be.
and specific context, I really don't care. Does that, because I don't want to sit here and say, well, this is okay. And that, no, if it's wrong for me, it's wrong for you. And that's how I look at it. It's a lot simpler that way without all the extra justifications for why, whatever,
We give each other a hard time about it, but
I know.
Heck, I've given my testimony, so anybody's listening to it, and
Right.
you know how we got together was not on the up and up.
Right,
you
right.
know, we're talking about cheating and all that. We had an affair.
Right.
It's not the proudest moments that we've had, and thankfully, it ended better than it should have. Because God's goodness and grace and forgiveness. That's all I can say.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe that's your punishment, is being stuck with each other?
That could very well be it. I'm just saying. But
This is one of them times where you lick your finger and stick it on her glasses.
no, yeah, he'll be really big trouble if he does that. I just cleaned him.
Oh, good idea. Oh, meet George.
You might have a point on that. That's my punishment.
See, she should have hooked up with you in high school. Just skipped all the other crap.
No, but if I'd done that, I wouldn't have my daughter. So
That's true. That's true.
I have to look at it that way.
No matter how you look at it, it's going to be his fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I told him. I said, I can't regret the life that I've had before him because it's brought me to the point to where I'm at.
Right.
Walking through the valley of shadows of death.
Basically,
Right,
yes.
right.
I went, you guys know, I went through a lot. You went through a lot before, we reconnected. And that helped us realize what we didn't want when we actually decided to do this. Like, I know what I've had. I know I don't want that anymore.
Boy, once you hit them 40s, things change. What do you want? No idea, but I've got a very long list of the crap I'm not eating anymore.
Yeah.
You
When we
know.
were in our early 30s.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. We're
Yeah, but even
17 years
but
ago.
even think about it now.
So,
God
late
forbid
20s.
something was to happen, your list would be longer now.
Yeah.
You know.
It was late 20s, but you know, he'd been through some not so great relationships.
Right.
I didn't have the best first marriage, and you know, and not blaming nobody. It's just,
No. Sometimes maybe it's a timing thing. Maybe it's not necessarily his fault, her fault, whatever, but it's you're incompatible. You know, sometimes it's really not a blame thing as much as it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes it's
and I don't say that as a free pass. Sometimes it is definitely people's fault.
sometimes, I mean, but you know, you put the work into it and you still can't make it work, but you at least got to try.
Right.
You got to try, you know.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I don't like doing blanket statements where, well, no, it's nobody's. No, people screw up. People
and
do
sometimes
wrong.
it's
Sometimes
both your faults.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you know, like,
in my situation, it wasn't one sided.
you know, we live in a society where accountability is like taking arsenic. Like nobody takes accountability. So no, I'm not going to put out one of them blanket statements where, well, crap happens and people just mature and get along. Grow up.
You grow up and you grow up separate, you know, different ways and different
Right.
and stuff. But you know, I mean, and it can happen, but you're supposed to choose to grow to.
That's like I said, when you, I remember having a conversation along similar lines a while back ago, and I'm like, you know, when you say, well, this person loved that and this person loved whatever, you know, I have to go back and I look at 1 Corinthians 13, and Paul defines for us what love is and what it isn't. And the way I look at it, it's like you can say whatever you want, but if it doesn't reflect 1 Corinthians, you're using the wrong word.
Yeah.
You know, because that's my definition. And that's the one I'm going to use. And if it doesn't reflect or resemble that, then it's not love. You know, like you can call it what you want, but
yeah,
you know, either way, moving on.
Yeah, well, I will add, I think sometimes it's not knowing how to love is an issue with that.
Well, nobody does. That's
but I mean, like, for my situation, we were both had horrible childhoods, not the greatest role models on
right
on that. Like, so we're bringing all this hurt and damage into this, thinking we know what love is based on what we had been taught at that point. And think that's a big reason why it didn't work, because
it could be,
you know, we never knew how to get past that.
Right.
You know,
or even worse, the other person who didn't do it is supposed to fix it and make it okay.
Yeah. You know, and part of me thought, oh, you know, well, he saw this going on, so he's going to save me from the rest of it.
Right.
I know he's got these little character flaws and these issues, but I can love him enough to fix that.
Right.
You know, those mentalities, that's just waiting.
Naive and
but you know, we were young, we didn't know, like, and what we did know was not healthy.
Right.
You know, so you're bringing all of that into, and then getting pregnant right off after getting married, like immediately.
Right.
You know, that was even more
Y'all
stressful.
know how that happens, don't you?
Yeah. Well, birth control failed because I took antibiotics and they didn't tell me. That's how that happened.
Right. You got to watch where you drink the water.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, not all water's the same.
But I wouldn't trade her for nothing.
Right.
No backup camera.
Well, I mean, that'll do it too.
But you know, there's a lot of reasons why it
and
can
yes,
fail.
we're talking about that on podcast. We're real humans.
But it
I mean, I don't know about you. I got to plug in my battery and get my Android fluid changed out later.
And he has an iPhone.
I know. Yeah, that thought went out the window.
You look, Christmas tinsel and something shiny.
I'm not saying that those are excuses to
No.
end your marriage, by no means.
No.
But sometimes it just doesn't.
Maybe read the Bible
work.
to repair your marriage.
Yes, well, God was not in my life then, so you know,
He repaired ours.
He did absolutely 100%. But we had to turn to that as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always work one-sided either, where one
No.
is and one's not. Like, I mean, it takes both of you. It can't be just one-sided, and that was another issue. When one's working on it and the other one's not.
Oh, you almost never work on it at the same time.
No, and then it flips. You know, that was kind of with me and my ex. We just could not, like, by the time that the damage was done, he was like, I'm done, I'm over it. And now I'm like, oh, but I want to fix this. And it's like, it's too late at this point, you know? And, you know, that's why it's good to have God in the center.
It is in the center of the relationship, but he also has, you know, this sounds redundant. Hey, he's not going to be in the center of your relationship if he's not in a position of priority in your lives as individuals.
Absolutely.
You know,
It's like something else people need to realize too. This podcast, God's in the middle of it too.
Yes.
God's in control of it.
We're not doing this for us. I promise you that.
No, if we did, them and over with.
Yeah.
Are you going? Is your screen going to sleep?
it's trying to. You got to move more so it won't go into sleep mode.
We got 10 minutes. Tell it to wake up.
All right.
Hey, you guys!
So we talked about
We've talked about everything except.
Well, we talked about the pivot of the, you know,
Right.
The speech pivot, I guess you could say.
Right.
I'm talking to God now, or I'm talking about God now. I'm talking
Right,
to
right,
God,
right.
We've hit that darkness, and that kind of leads us into the scenery pivot, where we went from, you know, everything is great
Right.
and fantastic, but now I'm going through this darkness. So in the Judean wilderness, summer pastures weren't all located in one giant flat meadow. As the spring sun burned off the grass in the lowlands, shepherds had to drive their flocks up into higher country, the mountain plateaus, to find fresh grazing. To get from low pastures to high plateaus,
Right.
they had to go. There was only one path through, and that was called wadis,
Right.
which is valleys, ravines.
Yep.
A wadi is a narrow canyon carved out by seasonal rains over thousands of years. The cliffs on either side rise dozens, sometimes hundreds of feet into the air, blocking out direct sunlight. Inside a wadi, the temp drops, the shadows grow long, and your sight lines disappear. So how many times have you felt like that when you're in your low points, in your darkest moments, and you're just really going through it? Like, you can't see past that. Your sight lines disappear.
Oh my goodness. That's, you know, and the overthinking kicks in. You know, maybe it's just me. I don't think it is, but in times of trial and times of, I hate to use the word potential trauma, on an emotional standpoint, this and that, when you feel like your world is either exploding or imploding, oh my goodness, it takes singular focus, you know, like you can be thinking about anything and then it just steers right back into it. And you can smack your foot with a hammer to distract yourself. And you're like, wow, that really hurt. And go right back into it. You know, it's consuming. It's, you know, that
like
saying
a
about
horse with blinders on.
when I
all you
wake up,
focus
I
on.
pray God gets in my head before I do.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Times like that you have to focus on the word. You have to, oh Lord.
And it's so easy to lose track
Oh
and
my
focus
goodness.
on your struggles, your problems,
Yes.
your, what, you know, that darkness, that dark, you know, valley that you're in. It's so easy to focus on that. I think it's interesting they call it the valley of the shadow of death.
And that's where I'm going with it. Internet says it's a famous metaphor from Psalm 23:4. It describes a place of extreme fear, deep darkness, and severe life trials where a person feels surrounded by danger or mortality. You know, says, however, the core message is comfort and safety, expressing faith that God is present to protect and guide through the worst hardships. And honestly, that's exactly what he says.
Mm-hmm.
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are there with me.
And you notice how he says that I'm not going to move into that valley, and I'm not going to buy a condo. I'm not going to, I'm not
Right.
staying here
Yeah. No,
permanently.
no, he's still going.
Like, you have to go through it. So, and that's where a lot of our mindset is too, is we get so fixated on the problem that we think this is it. This is my life.
Well-
This is where I'm going to be at from now on out. Like, we
Well,
don't have
and-
to move into
Well,
that.
and if your mindset stays there, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I love about the Bible is this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm. It's just
The
temporary.
Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years, but year 41 came.
Yep.
It was like you hit that pause button and you're stuck there.
Right. You know, Noah and them was on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights, but day 41 came. Jesus was tested and tried in the wilderness for 40 days. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
But day
Notice
40,
there's always 40.
40 pops up a lot. 7 pops up a lot.
And 3.
Yeah.
And
You
12.
know, what was it like in the book of Daniel? Would they have 70 years of exile?
Yeah.
But year 71 came. You know, for a lot of the stuff we go through, we don't know exactly how long it's going to take. But if you're still trying to push through it, that next day will come.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part about this is if you really dig deep into it, it's maybe there's a reason why we're supposed to go through that darkness.
Well, sometimes the reason is because we're stupid and we make bad decisions.
Yes, that's true. But sometimes,
But God can use that too.
Yeah, can't look past it
sometimes
either.
it's
Right.
to grow our faith. Sometimes it's to grow our strength or to grow. Will you pray for patience? Well, guess what? I'm giving you something to teach you patience.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
A 3-year-old.
That's why I don't pray for patience.
Well, there are things that strike me a little different. I don't remember the exact passage, but there's a passage before the crucifixion where Jesus is telling the disciples how bad it's going to get.
Yeah.
And it struck me as odd because they didn't say, "Oh my goodness, save us." They didn't say, "Give me strength." They didn't say, "Hide me." They said, "Increase our faith."
Mm-hmm.
And what a strange concept in the world we live in.
Yeah.
Because, well, if it's going to get difficult, give me wisdom, give me strength, give me perseverance. But you can gain all of those through faith.
Yeah.
But that's not where we go with it.
No, the faith is the biggest thing we need to get through it, because if we lose our faith, we've lost it all.
Exactly. And honestly, that's where the enemy is going to hit you the worst. He's going to make you question anything that can break your faith. I remember watching a thing where Jordan Peterson was talking about Dante's envision of hell, and he put betrayers at the bottom. Well, why would you put betrayers? Because there are murderers and what we would call worse things. He's like, well, betrayers, they make you question your faith and what you believe, because what you believed about them has been proven wrong. It makes you question yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It breaks faith. And I'm like, no, I'm not arguing. He's right. Being lied to is one thing. Being betrayed is something completely different, and it breaks faith.
Yeah.
Your faith in that person, but also your faith in what you believed.
Yeah.
And
sometimes faith in yourself because you believed it.
Right.
No,
that's right there. So no, I'm with Dante on that one. So
David's writing this, And you got to remember, David was a shepherd.
Well, and not only that, I don't know. There might be literature out there, but I don't personally know if he wrote this while he was running and hiding from King Saul.
Right. Well, and I read somewhere in part of my research that it's a possibility that he wrote it while he was a shepherd.
Right. Yeah, that is entirely possible
You know,
too.
because he's talking as a shepherd. You know, you're going through these valleys, and that's what it says. It said David looks up at the towering canyon walls, and he sees the shadow of death. The very existence of the shadow proves that light is somewhere above him.
Right.
And that's something that we need to focus more on. Like, we see, here's this, and it's blocking out the light. We'll look
Right.
past it and see that light, which is God. You know, we got to see our shepherd. It says that, you know, the valley feels dark, but the shadow itself is evidence that light hasn't been extinguished. So I thought that was kind of, I was reading through my notes. Whoop, I just dropped my phone. And I was reading it, and I was like, you know, I like how that illustrates that. And, you know, for us, when we are in that low of lows,
Right.
you know, we've got to look for that light.
And
We've got to.
just out of my curiosity, you know, my tism kicked in.
Yeah.
The Bible does not state an exact number of years, but scholars and historians estimate David spent roughly 7 to 13 years hiding from King Saul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like Israel isn't that big. And I don't recall him ever saying that he like fled to another land.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say he didn't like possibly go, you know, like stepped over the boundary, so to speak, but he didn't go to Egypt. He didn't go to Syria. You know, like he did not go into exile, so to speak, in
Yeah.
another country. He hid in his own land
Yeah.
for 7 to 13 years.
Yeah.
Knowing dang good and well that there's times where he was trying to hide and Saul might be right on the other side of the hill he was hiding behind. Of course, this is pre-internet, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Stone Age.
Yeah. So
Literally.
yeah,
I mean,
you know,
literally, that's how they wrote the commandments and stuff, is on the tablets.
well, I think by David's time he might have changed to wax,
Well,
but
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 still,
even
like-
still, you know,
And that's a possibility, but still, I mean, like, it's
right? No, it's you know, pre what we would see as technology. Definitely, what you know.
So if you are in this deep that darkness, the shadow of death, you know, we're saying it's easy for us to say, look for the light. Look for
Oh
the
yeah,
light.
it's easy when you're
And all
not
I
in
can
it.
think of right now is, don't go into the light. Sorry.
You want to go into the light at this point.
Right.
Can't wait. I'm sorry. That just pops.
Now
yeah.
that is the hard thing when we are in those places. Oh, even if we know we need to read our Bible, even if we know we need to pray, it is hard to keep our mind focused on doing so. You know, like every chance that we get, it goes right back into the darkness, right back into the shadow, right into the valley, you
Mhm.
know. And what gets me, you know, somebody said once, you know, it's like, instead of telling God about your problem, why don't you tell your problem about your God?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
change the focus on it. Don't tell
Yes.
God about the mountain, tell the mountain about God.
Gotta move it.
The
If
faith,
that's his will, yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes he wants you to go through some of these things. And I'm not
Teach
saying
you.
it's every time, but it's to teach you something.
right.
I mean, look at Job. He went through how much for what? You know, like think about so many people in the Bible that went through hardships, and you're like, why did this happen? Because God was trying to teach somebody something, including us, as we're reading it now.
Let me explain to you what human nature is. I'm going to edit because I'm not trying to talk somebody's business, and I'm definitely not trying to throw somebody under the bus. I was having a conversation with somebody, and parts of their life have been rough. I'm, you know, not even going to try to say otherwise. But I was trying to point them in the direction of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't believe in God. Why not? Well, if there was a God,
XYZ
God
wouldn't
would
happen.
God would have stopped me from doing these things.
Right. I hear that
I'm
a
like,
lot.
hold on. So you are aware that there is a Bible which lists out, you know, a
Things
lot
that
of the atheist crowd call it a book of rules and do's and don'ts anyways.
Mhm.
So, okay, use that. He wrote down the instructions. You want to pick and choose the ones you like and the ones you don't, which means you're using your own mindset to make the decisions anyway. You don't listen to them, you don't believe them, you don't pray. But if there was a God, he would have stopped you. I'm like, what gives you the idea that you would have listened?
And it's
You
his,
know,
and it's his fault again, anyways.
Yeah, it's
right.
his fault.
And I, like I said, I'm not saying this to throw anybody under the bus. It's the same mindset about, well, why do I have to go to hell?
Nobody said you had to.
Well, they don't want to accept that there even is a God.
Yeah.
But the idea of being in a place of torment because in their mind, well, I don't hate God, I'm just indifferent towards him. I'm like, okay, you can rationalize it however you want. How many people do you let into your house for an extended period of time
That you don't know.
you don't know
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
could be possibly hostile towards you or flat out deny your existence? I'm going to go right with
But
zero.
I deserve to be in your home,
Right.
and everything that provides.
Right. So like I said, there's some of this stuff that I don't get people's mindset on it. And I understand they don't understand mine either. Like I'm going to be fair with that. But like I said, there's certain aspects. If you don't believe that there is a God, why is being separated from him a problem?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to live separated from him here on earth, and in a lot of people's mindset, well, nothing happens when you die, so why are you concerned about it?
Mm-hmm.
The other aspect is I have never before seen people get so dang mad at somebody or something that they swear up and down doesn't exist to begin with.
Yep.
Like I have never gotten mad at Cinderella. I just really haven't.
I don't have a pumpkin that's turning into a beautiful coach.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm kind of jealous on that one, but
or a mouse that turns into a footman,
right.
But you're not mad because it's not,
Well, a lot of people, they want to place Jesus or God into the realm of fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. But why is he the only one you get upset with?
Because that's what everybody else does.
Well, I guess. I mean,
because it's easier to blame somebody than take the responsibility on yourself.
Oh, we're not back on accountability, are we?
Oh,
No.
Or the lack thereof?
Yes. I mean, honestly, a lot of that with us as humans, that's what
We're
we
not
lack
worth
a
a
lot.
crap at it. Honestly, we just ain't worth a crap at
We
it.
are not. So, we're thinking about this, you're in this dark place, and what does that light look like? Trying to, and all I can think about in this situation right now is what would that look like to somebody going through a rough time for us? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Daniel in the lion's den.
Right.
Think about that.
Well, there's another aspect in this very same verse. It says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So what is the use and the purpose of a shepherd's rod and the staff?
The rod is for guidance and correction.
And the staff?
That's a good one.
Protection.
I know you've yes, protection. I was like, I know you told me this, but now that you put me on the spot, it's like
Right.
Okay.
So you do have the shepherd's rod, so to speak. So we see the shepherd's hook. Mm-hmm. That's to grab us by the neck and drag us back to paying attention. The staff, well, that's what you fight off the bears. You fight,
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, it's a two-sided thing here.
Yeah. I guess I was looking at it just a little bit different when I was asking that question. Is
Right.
for us, what do we do so we can focus on the light, not the problem?
Right.
That's kind of where I was kind of going with that.
Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to point that out
Yeah.
before we close today.
Yeah.
Um,
And I can think about, with them, they were told to deny their God and not to bow down to the king and worship him, and they refuse to do it, and they get thrown into a furnace. Like what other dark, like that's like probably the worst, or the lion's den, that's a very bad place to be, like,
well, it's usually only a bad place for a few moments.
yes, but
And what'd they do? Make it like 7 times hotter than it was supposed to be?
like it burnt up the guards as they were trying to put them in the
Right.
fire, but what did they do? Who did they focus on? Did they pray about it?
I don't remember the exact aspect of that story, but I do recall that there was a fourth figure scene.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're on the subject, the valley of the shadow of death, you've mentioned we go through things and sometimes God has a purpose. If there is so much in the Bible that God did not save them from the element, he walked with them through it.
Yes.
He could have kept Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego out of the furnace,
Yes.
but he protected them in the furnace.
Yep.
He could have kept Daniel out of the lion's den.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the way a lot of us word it, because we will say that God saved Daniel from no, he didn't.
He shut the lion's mouth.
He shut the lion's mouth in the lion's den, and Daniel was in there with it.
Mm-hmm.
He was spared in the lion's den, but he
Yes.
was not spared from the lion's den. And that is an important aspect. When the disciples were in the boat with Jesus and the storm blew up, they went through the storm. So the idea that being a Christian and following Christ and calling out to God, and you're never going to have problems, and you're never going to, you got to get that garbage out of your head.
Yes. And that's probably part of why that was what popped in my head, was those two stories, because again, it goes back to, we're going to go through some hard times, and there's a reason behind it. And if you really dig deep into the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the king's looking down and he's like, didn't we throw 3 in there?
Yeah.
But I see 4. And they told the king, our God will protect us. One way or the other, he's going to protect us. God's going to protect us. And they came out, and if I'm remembering correctly, the king was like, okay, yeah, we worship that God now.
Didn't we do a podcast on this?
Vaguely. I mean, we did touch on it, but I don't think we got like super in
did
depth.
Something on it. I don't remember.
Well, we was in Daniel.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I don't know that they fully but he praised God.
Well, that is the problem with Nebuchadnezzar, is
he was so back and forth.
That's the thing, is every time Daniel or anytime God showed up, he's like, hey, your God is the God above all gods, and we're going to follow him.
Yeah.
Until we build a 300-foot statue that you're supposed to worship.
Yeah.
And Nebuchadnezzar is no different than the rest of us.
No.
No,
but I guess my point is it built their faith stronger, but it also let others see God through them and that experience. That was the point I was trying to make.
No, and that is the
So when you're going through those hard times, keep in mind there is nine times out of 10 there's a reason behind
your story can be a comfort and even a roadmap to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Even when we create some of those hard times.
Remember that song, your story, his glory.
Well, and I'll say something else, because I know we're running out of time. That Big Daddy Weaves song, My Story.
Yeah.
I think about the lyrics of it, and of course I'm an overthinker, so sue me, I guess. But as a Christian, at some point, if our story doesn't become his story, we've missed the point.
Yep.
It really is that simple. We are still a player in the game. We'd still have a leading role, so to speak.
Yep.
But if your story does not become his story, you've missed it. You need to
If
start
it's
back,
still
try
just
again.
about you, like,
Yeah,
because you didn't pull yourself out, you didn't,
Right.
you know, I know I didn't pull myself out.
right. And Jesus is not a genie in a bottle that you open your Bible and poof, what do you need?
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm
we've
struggling.
got right. And
Why are you
honestly,
struggling? I mean, that's another thing you got to think about. Why?
right.
And that goes back to, you know, the
The-
faith, focusing on God, prayer time, Bible study, meditating on God's word, just being still
Seeking
and
to
listening.
understand rather than looking to be right.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why I was asking, what does that look like when you are trying to see the light past the darkness? You know, for us now, like,
That would be the difference between religion and relationship.
yes.
To be honest with you,
No, it's true.
that'll be the difference.
No. Yeah.
You know, and I don't, those outside of the faith, they'll never be able to wrap their heads around that,
Mhm.
because to them it all looks the same.
Yeah.
And I pity them on that aspect, and not in a mean way. Like, I wish they could see what we could see.
Yeah.
Difference
Um,
between what was it? Because we went over this once at our old church. Relationship versus, I forget exactly what it was, how it was worded, but it's do you know God or do you know of him?
right.
Do you know about him? I mean, you can know everything that Bible says, you can know everything there is to know, you know, scripture wise, word for word, repeat it. But do you know him or do you know about him?
Or does he know you?
Well, here's
And that's
another
another
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Here's another thing.
But
You
if
know,
you know him, like know
if
him like that, then
if we're already going to kick people between the legs,
Right.
because
is Jesus Lord?
yeah, and
Who's making your decisions?
what's your idol?
Yeah.
That's basically it. What's your
You
idol?
know.
What are you putting before God? Because anything you put before him,
Yeah. Are you giving them first fruits or what's left?
yeah, anything you put before him, that's an idol.
Yeah.
I went to work today. I'm tired. Okay, God. What can I do for you?
And I'm guilty of it.
I agree.
I mean,
We
I
all
am
are, but
so
it's a
guilty
habit we
of
have
it.
to break.
Yes,
You
and it
know.
can be done. And they say it takes 30 days to make a habit, or to start a habit, and it takes 90 days to really make it stick. You know what they say?
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's I've heard different dates and times put into there, but
But if you do something consistently, at least every day for 3 months,
what
then
my
it's supposed
belief
to.
is that you will do what you choose to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it 30 days to make it a habit, or to not make it a habit for that matter. If you choose to follow Jesus, then you will follow Jesus. It's the same thing as changing your life or giving up an addiction habit. Going through all the self-help seminars and all the rehab, none of that's going to work until you decide I'm done.
Yep.
You've actually got to do the
And
work.
and
like-
following Christ is the same way. You can read the Bible all you want, but if you don't start the application of letting it work in your life, if you don't truly, if you read it just like you're reading Ben-Hur,
Mhm.
then it's just another book. But if you're going to take in the instruction and let it work, and like it takes an active choice.
And it
So,
is a choice.
Yeah,
Like,
it is
I
a
mean,
choice.
And that's what, we're not forced to do any of this.
But I'm a firm believer that people can change,
Mhm.
and they can change for the better.
Yes.
Now that doesn't shown very often. We usually get the other side.
Right.
But I am a firm believer that people can change for the better, but it almost never happens without Christ.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Now,
I know he was the reason why I wanted to change my life.
right.
I mean, how many times he was there and I never saw it, until I was older, and I hit that point of just broken. There's no repairing this. It was my mindset. I'm just broken and I'm unloved and nobody's gonna, and I really had to hit that. And they call it the rock bottom.
Right.
And I don't know if there was any lower that I could have gone.
Well, and that's kind of where my mind has been on such things. Like because different people have different rock bottoms, and I
Yes.
get that.
Yeah.
And perspective is important also, because I do think some of us, if they sold out of our particular flavor of drink, then that is terrible. And
Yeah.
like I said, as Americans, we really have no accurate perspective. But like for the lows that I've been in, I'm not going to say that I couldn't go any lower. I don't want to,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Like I
But
don't
that's
know how deep the pit is. I'm not going to say I smacked the bottom because there's always worse.
oh, I'm
You know,
sure. Yeah. I
if
mean, I'm sure
we
I could have went lower, but at the time it felt like I
right.
couldn't. Like that was
Oh yeah, it always feels like it's the
like
worst at the time. I'm just trying to put into perspective that
if you don't
it
make
really
that
can get worse.
if you don't, and especially if you don't make that choice to change, there you have
Right.
a higher chance of it getting worse.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you really do. Like
And it's the same as if you always play a victim.
yes.
You know, like if you're not taking any correction, if you're not learning anything other than it's everybody else's fault.
I feel like for me, the next step would have been not being on this earth anymore.
Right.
That's where I was
and
at.
and that is a sad place to be in.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly where I was at. I felt
and
like I had nothing else, and I had I had my kids and stuff, but I just felt that broken.
right,
That there was no hope,
right,
and it's amazing that God will just ever so gently just reach out that hand. He's like, "But I am your hope,"
right.
and that moment on, I took his hand, and it's not been easy.
There's times where he is, as you said, he's very gentle about it, and there's other times he's Kevin Hart.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah,
focus.
yeah.
Smacks you in the back of the
And
head.
I think
Hard.
it depends on the person and the situation too. He knows what you need.
Yes.
In that moment, I didn't need another freaking hammer
Right,
being
right.
hammered at me. I needed that gentleness. Like I'm your hope.
Right,
Like
right.
you've got me. Just reach out your hand and grab me.
Right.
I'm
right.
here. And that is a feeling that I will never ever forget. And I pray everybody gets to experience that.
Right.
I mean, just how much that saved not just me, but us.
Right.
Like, I mean, how much that affected my entire family. And was I perfect at it? No.
No, well, none of us are. We're not going
Did
to
I
be.
backslide a lot? Yes. Yes. And I had to redirect myself again,
It's like, did. Boy, I don't know if past tense is the way we need to be wording this.
Well, shush. We get all my secrets.
I'm just
No.
saying, I was
mean,
talking about me.
Like, anybody who knows me knows that I still I've said that I'm still bad about a lot of this, like digging in my word. I get complacent with it, or I'm like, oh well, I've been dealing with a 3-year-old all day, and I'm just so exhausted.
I shared with my cousin the other day. She reposted something. I can't remember how it was worded, but something about living in truth and repentance and this and that. And it's not that I disagree. I agree with it. But my thing on it is that's where I try to be. Now, it doesn't always show,
Right.
but that's where I try to be. And the honest part of me is usually what you see is the reason why I need a savior.
Yeah.
But what you're not going to hear me say is that I don't, that I'm perfect, that I never screw up. Um, if we could do this on our own, then the cross was unnecessary.
All of it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I'll walk around the house and I'm like, God, I need you. God, I really need you. Like, and that's not me just saying,
Right.
like those little simple prayers, they say pray consistently or constantly.
Yeah, constantly.
That's what that means, going through your day. And it means like, pray without ceasing. That means in those little moments, just saying something like, thank you, God, or God, I need you, or, just little simple things.
Oh, yeah. How much has God learned about technician work over the years? Yeah. You've talked to God a lot, haven't you?
He may cuss more than we do.
You're like, boy, I told you to check pin 19 on that plug.
He's like, will you just listen to me? Like, it's right there.
It's like she sent me before we get off, she sent me a TikTok. It said technicians there are two technicians sitting in the parking lot on tires watching a tow truck come back with a car that said, I told you recommendations on that one.
Right.
Guess what? It's coming back.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told you what that car needed before it left the shop. You didn't want to pay for it, so now look where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
Now you get the diagnose fee on top of that. Which I've already done, but guess what? I get to do it again.
Well, I know on the technician aspect, the automotive side, not every shop is honest. Not every technician is honest. And a lot of folks try to sell you services that you don't need and whatnot. Some folks try to take advantage of you. And the downside is not everybody is automotively literate.
Right.
So they have to take your word for
Right.
it. Now, what I like is sometimes where somebody they think they know more than you do.
Those are my favorite.
And I will let them talk for a few minutes.
Or my dad's a mechanic. Why'd you bring it to me?
Right.
Because a lot of times when they said that I'm a mechanic, they're not as mechanic-y as they think they are. Or they are a true mechanic and they're like, I don't want to work on anybody else's cars. I work on them all day.
I had that conversation with somebody. They showed up like 20 minutes before it was time to leave. Like, can we get this done tonight? Well, I don't know. We close here in like 20 minutes. Well, I could do it myself if I had the tools. I'm like, well, take your butt outside and do it. Well, I don't have the tools. That sounds like a very personal problem. Like, don't mouth off that you do it yourself. I will let you.
Yep.
Like, I'm ready to go home.
Yep.
Which might be the wrong attitude. I need a savior.
Yes. That's the reason why we need Savior.
Well, that's one of many.
Especially in that world.
Yes.
All right. Well,
if it's not on the customer side, then it's from the engineering side.
Yes.
What are we hitting next week?
You put that bolt in that spot. Why?
Hopefully.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
If we don't think of anything else to talk about 4.
Yeah, because I think you touched base on the last part of 4.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah.
And I think the missus has the rest of the year planned out for us.
Maybe. Unless God says otherwise.
Unless God gives us a U-turn.
This
Crossroads.
was a U-turn. Psalms 23 was not like...
No. It's okay, though. It's all part of it.
It's God's show, not ours. We go where he leads.
Well, I'm glad he didn't say 119. Ain't that the longest one in there?
Yes. We've been here for
I think so.
This year and next year.
I mean, yeah.
Of course, if we're ever out of material.
There's a few that... there's a few things that I want to do. The names is God, and then I want to do the...
Now, do you want to separate the names of God versus the different names of Christ?
I don't know. We ain't got that far into it, but
I'm just bringing,
those are things
like don't intermix them.
Like we'll have to.
We either have to carry them all or we have to separate.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to kind of do some research on that and see how we want to go. But that's something that's been on my heart is, the different and the meanings behind it, like the Jehovah Jireh, those because they all have a different meaning behind it, and it shows basically who God is through those names. So that's the reason why I wanted to show who he was.
I have no problem with it.
If that's not something we get across and God says, nope, we're not doing that, then that's fine too. It's just a thought. And then,
because at the end of the day, God doesn't care if you call him Jamal as long as you call him.
Parts of the, parts
as long as it's not a dirty word.
Right.
Parts of the, Sermon on the Mount, the blessings are, I really wanted to kind of break into that. Right. That kind of tells you how,
who
he wants you to be.
Yeah, meek doesn't mean what we think it means, does it?
Right. No. And then the prayer, I talked about how to pray, which is also part of you corrected me on that. I didn't realize it was part of the Sermon on the Mount. Even we're learning.
None of us know everything.
No, we're learning this as we go too.
I'm waiting for Mister to open up.
He needs to more.
He might sit us down one of these days and lay out a full Baptist sermon, smack the table.
He might.
rattle off some stuff that none of us have heard before.
I never know.
I'm
He
still waiting.
might.
Right now, I'm a little distracted watching a 3-year-old walking around naked around the house.
To clarify, that's his own 3-year-old.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. My bad.
let's clarify.
She has a pull up now. She's good.
They're supposed to be putting her in bed, but Gabe is asleep on the couch, it looks like.
Yeah,
and
I apologize. I'm watching the kids from home.
Yes.
Right.
From here. So
Oh.
the missus can be with us.
Looks like it might be a time to go get them.
Well, this is our date night.
Right.
Well, I go work after this and for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it gives me a little break from the 3-year-old.
You know,
Right.
I used to take her on a date and go to the church, feel the baptism, then we go out to dinner.
That was our anniversary.
Yeah.
Mini anniversaries. That was. He's like, I gotta go there. Okay, we'll go get that filled up, and then we'll go eat, and then we go to Walmart.
Right.
Like that was our anniversary.
I've had candlelight at McDonald's before.
I mean, I ain't
That's a
mad.
good
I'm not
idea.
spending time with him.
she'll get a Happy Meal. She don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does she let you pick the toy, or is it her Happy Meal?
It's her Happy Meal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Who knows what's in this day and age?
Oh, it's rare that I see anything interesting anyway.
Our
A
first
Happy
date
Meal
was
just aggravates
Subway.
me.
Our first date was Subway, and I paid. So, I mean,
Right, there you go.
and I proposed.
By that point, you knew better than to argue, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would be like to be proposed to, though.
Like-
Sometimes I wonder about that.
Did you hear about Ken? No, what? He's getting married. Well, how did he find out? She
Kinda.
told him yesterday. Is there anything we can do? No, the invitations are already out.
The funny story is, all through high school and middle school, I asked every girl I was dating to marry me.
Right.
She's the first one I asked to marry me. Or marry her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I married. I asked
Yeah.
you to marry me.
And I was like,
He didn't know how to take that. I'm like,
Right.
I was like, well, and it wasn't even anything romantic. It was like, you're moving in with me. Why don't you just we just get married? Like, that's kind of how it
She's
went.
so romantic.
Was it not kind of how it was? I'm like, you're moving in. Might as well just go. Why don't we just go
Right.
ahead and get married? Like, I mean, yeah, that was the conversation. And he's like, okay, like, we're getting married.
Also, don't recommend that one.
no.
No.
That's kind of a
That's
different.
that was BC.
Well, no, but it was the kind of relationship that we had too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we
Right.
could be.
Like mine as well.
Well,
You
no, but it wasn't that. I mean, wasn't exactly like that. It was,
Right.
we've already said, we love each other. We want to spend the rest. We'd already talked about that. We wanted to spend the rest
Right,
of our
right.
lives, and I'm like, well, why don't we just do it then?
Yeah.
Basically, I was kind of
Yeah,
blunt about it.
put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I'm like, we're saying this, then let's just do it. Like,
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how it went. There
Well-
was no getting down on a knee or, oh, I'm so in love with you, and we'd already been talking about spending our lives
Right,
together.
right.
So
Well, good.
might as well take that next step. We're talking about it. Let's do it.
Right. Got anything to add before we shut her down?
No. I definitely need to talk more, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes when me and her get going, it's hard to get a word in edgewise, but
Well,
It
once
really
I can
is.
think,
we'll get you a squirt bottle.
once it gets better, I'll
Shush.
get more used to working 6 days a week.
Right.
I got spoiled at the old job. Worked 5 days a week. Got off at 5 o'clock. As this lounging,
Right.
I'm actually physically busy at this job, and I'm not mad at it. It just takes getting used to.
Well, the biggest thing is you've got to set that time aside to do your study.
Yes.
That is your biggest thing. I
I
think
come
if
home,
you studied more,
Come home, shower, eat dinner. And
pretty much.
Yeah. No,
I
I
cuddle
get
with the
it.
baby for maybe 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
I might put her to bed every once in a
That's
while.
Every
kind
now
of the
and
way
then.
I've been the last couple
Every
of days.
once in a while.
After the storm damage, I've been running a chainsaw, and that's not what I normally do. And that's not what I normally do in this kind of weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have fairly well just come home and wanted to die in peace. you know. So, all right. I guess we're going to stick a fork in it.
Yeah, well, we'll see y'all next week. Y'all pray for us. We'll pray for y'all.
Lord willing, we'll be able
Yes.
to do it next week.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
things happen sometimes. So
Yeah.
I like to throw that out because I don't
Right,
want to say
right.
we will be here next week because that doesn't always work that way. We are going to attempt to.
Yeah, I mean, we could just be flashy. Same table talk time, same table talk channel. You know.
That works.
I don't know. But we good?
Yep.
All
We'll
right.
play a video. We'll call it a night.
Pull up a chair, there's room for your voices. Rise where the truth comes through from coffee, sips to midnight thoughts. This is where the real talk starts. So take a seat.